All right, so I'm going to show you how I use AI to make thumbnails for me. You're probably thinking, oh, he's about to show me some AI slop. Well, I guess that's subjective, but all of these thumbnails have literally been generated with AI. So in this video, I'm going to walk through how I set up AI to create thumbnails for my YouTube channel. Now, you're not going to need to know any coding experience. I'm going to walk through this literally step by step from a beginner aspect. I have resetted my MacBook Air to where I will need to re-download everything that I need in order to make this possible. So literally all you have to do is watch this video and follow me step by step. And also I'll explain complex terms and give you an easy understanding of them so you don't get lost in the process. I probably need to give this disclaimer. This does cost money, okay? So for the last 90 days, I've been using this to make my thumbnails. And as you see right here, it cost almost $104. Out of this 104, that's generated me 402 well-designed thumbnails that I can use pretty much anywhere. The second disclaimer is that you will need a Claude Code subscription or a Claude Pro plan subscription. They run about 21 bucks per month. So I just wanted to give that disclaimer beforehand. It does cost, but it really is kind of pennies on the dollar. And I see it a lot more valuable. So the prerequisites is that you're going to need three things. The first thing that we're going to need is we are going to need Cursor. Now, Cursor is an IDE. Now, what an IDE is basically a workshop where you write code. Now, after we need Cursor, we're going to need Claude Code because Claude Code is going to be the brains behind the operation. So those are the main two prerequisites that we need. The third is, of course, the file. But luckily, I have the file right here. So we're just going to be able to download it and then execute it in our IDE and have Claude run it. Okay. So first things first, I'm going to show you how to download the IDE. So you're going to come to cursor.com and you're going to hit download right here. Now, whatever you're on, if you're on Windows, Linux, or Mac, it's going to download the proper one for you. Okay. All right. So after you get it downloaded, it's going to ask you to log into Cursor. So you could just do that. Now, Cursor is a paid thing, but you can use it for free. So we're going to hit skip for now. We hit continue and we'll hit maybe later. Yes, log me in. Okay, allow. We have step one done. Our IDE is now set up. Now, a little piece of advice is if you're ever getting stuck, like if your computer is throwing any errors on your way that you're not seeing here, just boot up Claude or whatever GPT that you're using or AI LLM that you're using, right? And just ask it. I was having a problems installing because I had to completely wipe Cursor to try and do this for you guys. And I just asked Claude to help me out with it. The next thing that we want to do is we want to install Claude Code. Zoom in here. This little squiggly line is the tilde. So you're going to hit Control tilde and now bring up the terminal in Cursor. Okay. So in the terminal Cursor, this is where you want to go ahead and we want to download the brains of our operation, which is Claude Code, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to visit this website right here. The links will be in the description as well too. And then you're going to come down. It's just a step-by-step. It'll teach you how to do it. But depending on what you are, native install is best. So we're just going to copy this command here. And then we're going to just paste it. Okay. And then we're going to hit enter. Now, as you see, it will say setting up Claude Code, blah, 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 blah. And then it will say Claude Code successfully installed. If it says anything else than this, come to Claude, type in or copy whatever error code it is, paste it in here, and then see what the next steps from there may be. This is what it looks like when it's successfully installed. It'll tell you the version and then it will tell you the location. So the next thing that we want to do is we want to run Claude-help to get started. So we're going to go ahead, copy that, and we'll paste it and we'll run. Okay, so after we've done that, it'll kind of print this out. You don't need to read any of that. The next thing that we're going to do is we're just going to type in Claude. Claude will initialize it. Now, what initialize means is just basically it will start booting it up. Think of initializing as when you click the power button on your computer and it turns it on. That's what it is. So it just basically turns on Claude Code here. This is all personal preference. So this is just color scheme. So if you have a Claude account with a subscription, hit enter and it'll boot up right here and it gets you to authorize and log in. I will need to sign in. So let me do that really quickly. All right, boom. So after this is done, we can hit enter and yes, it's going to tell you a little bit of things. We're going to hit enter again. I would just hit use with recommended settings. And then yes, I trust this folder. No, don't try that. Okay. It's low key kind of ass. All right. Allow, and we should be good. I've already built the folders files out for you, so we're gonna go ahead and download those right now. It will be in Google Drive, so you'll be able to just hit download right here, and then it's gonna download it's gonna zip the file, download it, and then we're gonna give Claude access to that file. So while it does this, I probably should explain how the thumbnail generation system works. I had read a book not too long ago that said steal like an artist, and honestly it was one of my favorite reads. And basically the premise of the book is to steal from someone else and twist it to match your own style. This is how creativity is born majority of the times, is just stealing something that was previously existing and adding your own little spice to it. That's the exact same framework that we do for our thumbnail generator. So with our thumbnail generator, it's a 3-step process. The first things first is you find a thumbnail on YouTube that you like and you think will suit your video well. The reason why I did this method rather than trying to just kind of type in prompts and have it generate a thumbnail is for 2 reasons. One, it gives pretty shitty results when you try and just create something by typing in a prompt. If you're not specific bar for bar, it's going to have some AI slopping. And 2, that takes a shit ton of time just getting really detailed and whatnot, but not really that reason. The bigger reason why is because thumbnails that are on YouTube and that have videos that have substantial views means that the thumbnail is battle tested. You don't have to verify if it works or not. You see that it is already working for someone else. This is a thumbnail that they decided to keep on their video and it is getting them views. It has a decent click-through rate. And this philosophy I noticed immediately because I went again from having like a 1-2% click-through rate. The moment I tried this out, I have a 3 to 5% now. Immediate increase the moment I made the switch. All right, so once you have the folder downloaded, we're gonna open up Cursor again. So I'm gonna click here and open up Cursor. Now, if you don't see this, there should be a little area that says switch to editor. I'll show it briefly. You want to click on that so you can see this, and then you just hit open project. You'll come to downloads and then you'll click this right here and you'll hit open. So now this should give you a list of directives, executions, and the reference photos, which I will talk about in a second. So executions are simply basically Python scripts. Python is a programming language used for coding. So think of it as just like how English is a language, Spanish is a language, that type of. Now, I already took the liberty to write out all the code for you, so you don't have to touch anything. All we have to do now is that we just have to boot up a Claude Code instance. Now, this is where there'll be a fork in the road, okay? Let's say, for example, you are a faceless YouTube channel. Let's say your thumbnails look like this, okay? You want to create thumbnails like these and stuff like that, right? But if you want your thumbnails to have your face in them, kind of like this and like this and like this, and, I don't know, like this, I guess, we're going to have to do one more step before we continue. Coming back to the editor here, we need to add some reference photos. The reason why we're going to add some reference photos is because it is going to generate your likeness using these references. What I recommend is getting some type of recording tool, putting yourself behind a neutral background, and just move your head in notches like this. Okay, almost like you're a, what's those things that be on the lawn that sprinkles water on the grass? One of those, right? And then you take a screenshot of every notch that you turn and you give it and you put it in this reference photo section. So I'm gonna go do that really quickly. I've already taken pictures. I'm just gonna grab them from my Windows PC. Show in Finder. No, nope, wrong one. There we go. We're gonna take all of these and we're just gonna drag them into Headshot. So now the AI has a reference of what we look like, and it can now generate our likeness a lot better. All right, so now we're back meeting at the fork. There's one more thing that we have to do before we move on to the next, and that is very simply, we need to get a ENV or a secret key for Nano Banana API. So Nano Banana is the second AI that we use to help generate these thumbnails. So there's really 2 AIs that we're using here. The first one is Claude, which is the brains, and then the second one is Nano Banana, which is the worker that is generating these thumbnails. So we're going to need to grab the API key Nano Banana. Now I am going to show you how to grab this key, but I will not show you my key, and please don't show anybody your key because it's supposed to be a secret. So in this case right here, first thing we're going to do is rename this to just .env, and then we need to go here to grab our API key. So we can hit command click and it'll take us directly to where we need to go. We're going to click here and you're going to hit, basically you're going to name your API key. So we could just, in this case, you can name it test, and then we'll hit create key. And then it will generate an API key. Now, when you look at it, you should see something that says API key. That's what you'll be copying, okay? Anything else you don't really need. All right. So once you have your API key, you're just going to come back in that same env folder and you'll paste it there. And then you will hit Command S or Control S to save it. Okay. Sorry, I couldn't show you that. It's just, you got to be really safe with those API keys. You don't want to leak that. That's like leaking the keys to your house. So now that we have the API key, everything is set up. If you are someone who wants to have a face brand, right? Or, you know, your face in the thumbnails, we have the reference photos. So now that is set up. So now literally this is all we'll do to create a thumbnail. It'll be really quickly. First things first you want to do is you want to come on YouTube and you should look for a thumbnail that you like and will resonate with your YouTube video. All right, so this thumbnail looks nice. Of course, there's a lot of things that we can switch up and add here, but I'm going to hit share and then I'm going to copy this link. That's all we're gonna need. And now we're gonna come back to our IDE in this case, which is cursor, and we're gonna hit command tilde. This is gonna pop up the terminal, all right? In this case, we're gonna hit Claude. So this will declare Claude or initialize Claude or basically turn it on. And then we're just gonna say, hey, can you recreate this thumbnail for me using the recreate starter folder? We're gonna paste. So now this is what's gonna happen. So once we hit enter, it is going to start the script and start running this. If it is the first time, expect it to do some initial setup. So it asks you to set up things like download certain dependencies. Dependencies are just basically like extra stuff that it needs in order to run it properly. You just want to hit download, okay, and it's going to download it as dependencies that we need to use in order to run this. But for now, we are going to hit enter and then see how it looks. And I'm going to make this full screen so we can get a better look at it. And we don't need to see that. All right, cool. So you see step one, it's gonna ask to fetch the thumbnail, right? This command requires approval. Basically what this is asking you, do I have the approval to run this script? I usually have it on, yeah, just do whatever you want, which is like bypass permissions. But for you, you should probably have it ask you everything. It's going to ask you a lot of questions. You can just hit yes for the majority of these because it's just going to ask to run each one of the scripts. You'll see error codes, but do not worry. Claude is smart enough to fix itself and then retry again. So you literally don't even have to do it. So we're gonna let this run, probably speed up the montage. Now where you see thumbnail outputs is where your thumbnails are going to live once they're generated. It's gonna generate 3 variations of the thumbnail for each one that you want to run. As you can see here, this is when you know you're good. Both prerequisites are met. The env API key is there, and then the 9 headshots in the reference photo is there. Now I'll run the pipeline. And they'll ask you, like, if you don't want to run headshots, to say, hey, I don't want to run headshots. I want to create it as it is and maybe change it up and make this character the subject. This will take a little while, so I'm going to grab my phone and doom scroll YouTube thumbnail. All right. Wow, that was actually quicker than I thought. Yep. All right, so expect variations to be off. If all 3 of them are off, we're going to talk with it in our normal language. So as you can see, it downloaded some of them, but it kind of just doesn't look right? It just doesn't look natural. So what I tend to do is I just tell it in plain English what's wrong with it. So the first things first, we need to fix for all 3 variations the lighting to make it look like we are actually in the scene that we're supposed to be in. Second, the hand color does not match our face color. So let's work on that. and generate new versions of all 3 variations. And also variation 1 is not me. Keep these in mind while you are making the second edit pass. Basically, I'm telling it everything that is wrong, and it is going to take some iterations, but it will come up with a better result in the second one. But it's just going to continue to look at it and adjust it based off of what I want to tweak and what I don't want in there. So it's going to run as edit passes, and we'll wait. As you can see, it is pretty quick. It's honestly faster than on Windows. As you can see, it immediately edited variation 1. So now this is us. It just has us kind of looking in a weird direction. We probably wouldn't use that. Variation 2. I mean, this hand color kind of looks closer to ours. I do like the lighting though. It does look like we're actually in the scene a lot more. Variation 3, again, is keep using like this, what I notice is kind of like taking the picture and almost just kind of like pasting it in. So what I'm going to say is not bad. What I want you to keep to note for your memory, Claude, you should not look to copy the headshots and slap it into the thumbnail. You should look to like kind of recreate the likeness, so that way the thumbnail keeps its same facial structure, facial composition, the composition of the scene. Everything in the thumbnail stays the same, except for the character or subject to just be recreated as us instead, okay? Store that to your memory. The more you make iterations and tweaks like this, the better it will get to his future. Every time you say store it to his memory, Claude will remember that and continue to improve upon it. All right, so in this case, it looks like variation 2 is the best looking one. The hand color, I don't really care too much. It kind of match. I do have kind of very light hands, so it looks kind of like mine. So I'm not really too care about that. Now, let's say if I want to adjust any of these things, what I would say is like, okay, cool. Let's say we want to switch up the title or remove this arrow. Literally, all you have to do is tell it in plain English. Okay, so for variation 2 version 3, that's the one where I want to continue working on. I would like for us to remove that red arrow that is on the left side of the phone. Also, remove the text impossible to ignore, and then also remove the logo next to that text, and then leave everything else the same. So now it's going to work on version 4 of this thumbnail. All right, so it just generated version 4, and you see it removed all of that. Right now, the next thing, let's say if I want to change this, right? So if I want to change this text, it look blurred out and stuff like that. If I want to say to, I don't know, let's just say, okay, good job. Now, you see where the text that says to potential client and then let's work together? I want you to just focus on those 2 pieces of text. First, they look blurry. Let's remove the blur from them. Second, let's change it from to potential client to Apex Trader funding. And then third, let's change let's work together to please give me my payout. So now we made these changes again, and every single time I'm just literally tweaking it with English or whatever language you speak to just make the changes that I wanted to make to the thumbnail. And after a few edit passes, we'll have one that we're pretty good with that we stole from someone else, yoinked it to our own style, and now we can use as a thumbnail for you. So it is running. It's going to let me know once it is finished. I didn't even have a chance to pick up my phone. All right, cool. It is finished. Bam. Just like that. All right. If we want to change the background. All right. So can we change the whole background scene? Let's change it to match that of a dark trading office, cinematic studio-esque like look. And then also I want you to bring clarity back to my face if you can. All right, so see how it's like it's getting worse. So we got the design that we want, but it's getting worse. So this is what we're gonna do. Close out Claude, open it back up, initialize Claude again, and then let's say, boom, copy path, right? Can we recreate this thumbnail? And then you're gonna hit paste. And all we did was we just took the image. We had pretty much everything we wanted, but the face kind of lost quality. So we just took the image, we're gonna rerun it, and then we're gonna rerun it with the exact same script. So it kind of comes out a little bit better. So it's gonna generate a new folder with new variations of this style. So after running it a little bit, I just basically asked it like here, they're very pixelated. Is anywhere we could fix it? The face is what I mean. Basically, it's a known problem when it comes to like AI face rendering. So I had an edit pass that just focused on the face, and see now we got a much clearer face. We got our treating background that we like. We have this little piece that we had liked as well too. Of course, there is a little bit of like issues and stuff like that when it comes to like this stuff right here. But when you look at a thumbnail, it's gonna be in small. So like nobody's really gonna ever notice this unless they download the image and just kind of scroll it in. Besides that, this is a pretty good thumbnail. It has the main points that I want, and this is something that I would use. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment sections below. I'm a pretty small YouTube channel, so I'll be able to respond to them immediately as soon as I see them. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have this all set up. And one thing before we end this video, I should probably show how much this cost, right? That made sense, so we can see how much it costs. And right here, that whole thumbnail cost us $1.18, and you see how many tweaks and changes we made, and now we got a pretty good thumbnail for $1.18. That's pretty good to me. If you guys want my next video to be a video on like how I did animations, kind of like this one up here, just drop it in the comment sections below, leave a like on the video, and subscribe for more tips, tricks, lessons that I'm using to grow my main channel, Shanghai. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys in the next video.